So students, let's conclude the PlayFair cryptography technique. Here you can see I have write three different terms associated with the PlayFair cryptography. One is called polyalphabetic cipher, then it is a substitution cipher, and symmetric key cryptography technique. So for encryption and decryption, initially we have to create a key, and key mapping is first step of PlayFair. So for key mapping, we have to create a 5 into 5 matrix, and this key during this key matrix, we have to write the all characters whatever in the key. And during the mapping, we have to ignore the duplications. And the last rule for the key mapping is that we have to write I with J as I and J in the key matrix. So this is already understood that for English, we have 26 alphabets. So 5 into 5 is equals to 25. So one cell will contain the duplicate items like I and J. And before encryption and decryption, we will create a pairing of as diagram of our plain text. And for this pairing, we have different rules. For instance, how we will add the fillers, and how we will create a pair, and what happened if we have odd numbers in pairing. And when we will create the pair, the next step is the encryption part. And for encryption, we have to check over plain text character into whole key matrix. If the plain text characters are in the same column, for example, here D and E are in the same column, we have to write the letter to the below of this character. For example, D and E, for D we have to write O, and for E we have to write D. And in decryption, we have to reverse it. Like if we have OD as cipher, then we have to actually write the letter above to the characters. For instance, I have here O and D is cipher. So O and D both are in same row, same column, sorry. So we have to write the letter above it. For O, we have to write D, and for D, we have to write E. So decryption part is the reverse, so keep this thing in your mind. Let's discuss with now with the another rule, that is if both characters are in the same row. For encryption, we have to write the letter to the right of the character in key, and for decryption we have to write the letter left to the ciphertext. For example, EX here, both are in same row. For E we have to write X, and for X we have to write M for encryption. And for decryption we have XM. So for X we have to write the character whatever is the other side of the ciphertext. For X we have to write E, and for M we have to write X. So if I draw it for you, for encryption, we will encrypt it like here, and we will decrypt in the circular motion like this. And the third and the final rule for encryption is if both characters are not in the same row and not in the same column, then what we will do, this is the rectangle shape, then the rule is we have to pick same row and opposite corner. For example, we have TH here. So TH both are in the different row and column. We will create a grid like this. And for T, we have to write Z wherever the other plain text character falls in the same column there where the both values intersect. So for T, we have to write Z, and for H we have to write B, because in the same grid we can see that Z and B could be the ciphertext. And this rule is similar for the decryption, because in decryption we have to check the opposite side of the characters. So I write it like here. If we do it for B, we have to write H, and for Z we have to write the T. So after the conclusion, you need to note down some exercises that is in your book. That is 2.9 question and 2.11 that is relevant to the PlayFair cryptography technique, and you have to solve these questions. You have to create the key mapping, and there is some example relevant to the uh, PlayFair technique. So students, thank you very much for this session, and we will meet in the next session with another cryptography algorithm. Thank you, students.